Hey, this is Chad Warren over at Alternative Media Show and Tell on Facebook. Come on over and check the group out. I had a most interesting experience this evening I'd like to share with you and receive your input, as it were. Okay, so I'm over watching about how crisis actor Nancy Kerrigan re-emerges. This was her back in the day, if anybody remembers the stupid news story about how Tanya Harding supposedly hit her with a lead pipe and kept her from performing in figure skating in the Olympics. And she has reappeared as of late in connection to this Planned Parenthood shooting in I don't know, Ohio or whatever state it is, but it's the state. You check out this guy's article; it's very interesting. Pockets of the Future. It's a new channel for me on YouTube, and yeah, I mean, what are the odds that Nancy Kerrigan would reappear after all this time, doing the same thing she did back then, crying to the camera about some tragedy? And one of the victims of this lie shooting, like all these lie shootings, is that this guy was a policeman and he was killed. Well, he was the guy that figure skated with Nancy Kerrigan back in the day. So, okay, so the world we live in is a cartoon. That uh, video will talk to you more about cartoon world and people that make cartoons. Since it's anything that can be in the imagination, they have to create rules. So go check out that video. But so then something totally weird, I don't make a lot of calls on Skype myself personally, but I'm sitting here watching my computer and I had my webcam still hooked in. I like to pull it out, but I have it plugged in for I was making a video earlier, and a Skype call comes in and I answered it. And it was Jaffy Ryder over at a very cool group that talking with this guy, he's doing what I want to do, but on a much more professional level at the Fringe Alternative News Network group on Facebook. And here you can see him discussing about how he recently was asked to help out with the Art Bell radio show. I'm sorry, I have not been watching this. I can't remember what the exact name of that show is, but most people know in this neck of the woods of conspiracy and truth seeking about that show. And I certainly, man, I loved Art Bell back in the day. Remember moving to Seattle in '99, and all my friends, we watched that. And I lived out in the high desert where evidently Art Bell lives. And I think that's what his show is called, something to that effect now, in the desert, something like that. But so Jaffy, I had, only recently found his group. He shared my article. That was nice of him. For alternative media to work, the audience must use it to cause positive change. But yeah, look at these great articles over here. I mean, it's a cut above. There's a lot of good groups that you can spot new material that you haven't seen discussed, in the quality of the people and how they discuss it. So yeah, I'd recommend that. And so evidently Jaffy lives in South Korea, and he is working on putting together his own podcast. And like I say, he has a great radio voice, not tainted by the negative effects of ego like is common with this business. And it was very interesting to hear his insider information about some experiences he has had in this business. I don't want to discuss that. I'll let him discuss that, but very interesting. And he was saying, did you know that over in North Korea that they have decriminalized, or it's not considered illegal, it's not considered a drug, cannabis, to smoke it. And this Vice article I just pulled up, looking to find confirmation of this, and yeah, evidently it's popular among the young soldiers on their downtime to smoke cannabis. Bet you didn't see that one coming, did you? And then that he was Jaffy was talking about how he was applying some pressure in the form of a question on Twitter to Seth Rogen, who was in the movie The Interview, that was uh, making fun of showing North Korea that it's this big tyranny, and that he was asking him, "Hey, Seth, you're the biggest pot smoker in the world. You're not going to say anything about this, And just in general about him and his, work in Hollywood. That he's just going to go along with that kind of CIA programming of The Interview." I can imagine just in general that we're all pretty controlled by money. And I can understand being on both sides of the fence of having money and not having money, that when you got to pay the bills, you got to pay the bills. And I can understand that being tough to make those decisions, because how much respect do we or should we have for people in general? That's a scary thought, but me, as somebody that is passionate about questioning authority and stopping corruption, it is very scary that after a while in that pursuit, I, sometimes think I agree with the Rothschilds. Who wouldn't want to eliminate the majority of the population as long as it's not us, right? Uncomfortable thought. I suppose that it's, we could say, the indoctrination that destroys people, and that people are basically good. But when we're all not thinking and acting of our own accord, but under the tutelage of the psychopaths that control the media, it does not make people behave very well, in my opinion. I don't like my own behavior, let alone other people's, a lot of times, but I digress. And so that whole experience with, which is common, of somebody calling in on Skype, and how we talk to people that we don't know on Facebook. And like I'm talking to the webcam right now. Look where this was predicted way back with Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Well, if I'm sure most of us have read the book about book burning and tyrannical police state mind control that is now a reality in this brave new world. But anyway, I just, am excited to be taking some chances to put myself out on video and to, feel uncertain, but to know that, like in the conversation that I had with Jaffy, somebody that I didn't even know, you can tell that uh, if you are willing to do a good thing and to take chances, you figure out what the purpose is that you're trying to achieve. Through, if you don't know at the beginning, once you start that conversation, things start to come out, and that's what I would like to encourage us all to do, is to start breaking down that wall until we all do know each other, and that the friendship of people disintegrates all this war. And let's fight that kind of a battle. You know what I mean? And in that case, uh, Vice magazine, who wrote, where is that article? Here it is, about North Korea and telling us that they smoke cannabis. Well, I have heard that it's very likely that Vice could be the CIA, because how you see the Huffington Post is asking the question, how were they able to interview ISIS in Syria? So that's for us to ask. We are just as responsible as the media, because we have freedom of speech. So that puts the burden on the individual to ask questions, and it is very scary to me that most people are dumber than a rock when you see them interviewed, on the street. Who is the president? People don't even know. It's very shocking. And I I barely can change a tire and the oil in my truck. So we're all shocking about what we don't know that we should know, that people used to know and that would probably need to know, and we could help each other out to know. So it's nice that friendship is the solution. And in that vein, evidently, Jaffy and I both are fans of Freeman Fly and Jamie Hanshaw over at freemantv.com, and that's one of my favorite shows, on at 9 p.m. Eastern Saturdays, live with the chat. And you can even chat with Freeman and sometimes the guests, and that's good and bad, because I am in those chats all the time, and it's nice to connect with people, but you do end up talking over the uh, podcast, and it's very hard to keep track of all that at the same time. But this Friends of Freeman is a great alternative to Facebook, because people have the right attitude of providing solutions. So yeah, they might talk about some conspiratorial things, but it's going to be much more talking about Wilhelm Reich, orgonite, and actionable information from all this far out stuff, and most importantly, meeting each other in the flesh and traveling the world and doing cool things. So thank you very much for your time, and please share with me your thoughts.